Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast, where we help you improve your English skills with fun and practical conversations. I'm Jason, your host, and today we have our amazing co-host, Julia, with us. Hey, Julia.
Hey Jason! Hi everyone! I'm super excited about today's topic because I think it's something every English learner needs to hear.
Absolutely. Today, we're talking about confidence first, fluency next. Many English learners believe they need to be fluent before they can speak with confidence, but the truth is, it's actually the other way around.
Yes, confidence comes first, and fluency follows naturally. When you have confidence, you're not afraid to make mistakes, and that's when real learning happens.
Exactly. And in today's episode, we're going to break it all down for you. We'll talk about why confidence is more important than fluency in the beginning, how to overcome fear of speaking, and simple ways to boost your confidence today.
And I'll also share a quick personal story. You know, Jason, when I first started learning a new language, I was so afraid to speak. I thought I had to be perfect. But then I realized that confidence is what actually helped me improve.
That's such a great point, Julia. So, if you've ever hesitated to speak English because you think you're not good enough yet, this episode is for you. Stay with us, because we're going to give you some powerful tips to change your mindset and start speaking English with confidence today.
Yes, and before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're new here so you never miss an episode. Also, leave us a comment. What's your biggest challenge when it comes to speaking English?
All right, let's get started. Confidence first, fluency next. All right, now that we've set the stage, let's dive into the big question. What does confidence first, fluency next really mean?
Great question, Jason. A lot of English learners believe that they need to be fluent first, and then they will feel confident speaking, but actually, it's the other way around.
Yes, let's think about it. Fluency means you can speak smoothly without hesitation. But how can you reach fluency if you're too scared to even speak?
Exactly. If you don't have confidence, you won't practice speaking, and if you don't practice, you won't improve. It's like a cycle. Confidence helps you speak more, and speaking more helps you become fluent.
That's such an important point. Let me ask you this, Julia. Have you ever met someone who wasn't fluent but still spoke with confidence?
Oh, absolutely. I know learners who make grammar mistakes, but they speak with so much confidence that people understand them easily. On the other hand, I've met advanced learners who know a lot of English but are too nervous to speak. That's the difference confidence makes.
That's so true. Confidence isn't about speaking perfectly. It's about being comfortable expressing yourself even if you make mistakes.
Right. And here's something interesting. When you speak with confidence, people focus more on what you're saying rather than how perfect your grammar is.
Exactly. Imagine two learners. One speaks perfect English but hesitates and mumbles, while the other makes mistakes but speaks with energy and clarity. Who do you think people will understand better?
The second one, confidence makes communication so much easier. It's not about being perfect, it's about being understood.
That's a great way to put it. So, to all our listeners, if you've been waiting until you're fluent to start speaking, stop waiting. Start with confidence, and fluency will follow naturally.
Yes, and in the next part of the podcast, we'll talk about why confidence matters so much when learning English. So stay with us.
All right, now that we understand why confidence should come before fluency, let's talk about why confidence matters so much when learning to speak English.
Yes, confidence is the key to actually using the English you already know. You might have studied grammar and vocabulary, but if you don't believe in yourself, you'll struggle to speak.
That's so true. I've seen learners who know a lot of English but are too afraid to speak because they think they'll make mistakes. And on the other hand, I've seen people with basic English who communicate easily because they don't let fear stop them.
Exactly. Here's something interesting. Our mindset affects how we speak. If you constantly think, I will make mistakes, you'll hesitate. But if you think I'm learning and it's okay to make mistakes, you'll speak more freely.
That's a great point. In fact, research shows that when we feel nervous, our brain doesn't function as well. When you're stressed, you forget words, you freeze, and you can't speak clearly.
Oh, I've experienced that. There was a time when I was learning French, and I was so afraid of making mistakes that I just stayed quiet. But when I finally decided to speak with confidence, I realized that people understood me, even if my grammar wasn't perfect.
That's such a great example. And the truth is, native speakers don't expect you to be perfect. They appreciate your effort. It's all about communication, not perfection.
Yes. Let me ask our listeners, have you ever held back from speaking because you were afraid of being wrong? If yes, you're not alone. But remember, confidence makes a huge difference in how you sound and how people respond to you.
That's why one of the best things you can do is to change your mindset. Instead of thinking, I will make a mistake, start thinking, every mistake helps me improve.
And here's the good news: confidence is something you can build. In the next part of the podcast, we'll talk about how to overcome the fear of speaking and some simple strategies to help you feel more confident when you speak English.
Yes, so stay with us. We have some great tips coming up. All right, now that we understand why confidence is so important, let's talk about something that holds many learners back: the fear of speaking. Julia, why do you think so many people are afraid to speak English?
Great question, Jason. I think it comes down to three main fears: fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged, and fear of not being understood.
Yes, those are the biggest ones. Let's break them down and talk about how to overcome each one.
Sure, let's start with the fear of making mistakes. Many learners think they need to speak perfectly, but that's just not true. Jason, do native speakers speak perfectly all the time?
Not at all. Even native speakers make grammar mistakes, forget words, or say and when they speak. The key is that they don't let those mistakes stop them.
Exactly. So if you're afraid of making mistakes, remind yourself, mistakes are a natural part of learning. Every mistake is a step toward fluency.
That's such a great mindset shift. Now, what about the fear of being judged? A lot of learners worry that people will laugh at their accent or grammar.
I totally understand that fear, but the truth is, most people are kind and supportive. Think about it. If you meet someone learning your language, would you laugh at them or would you try to help?
Right. Most people admire your effort, not your mistakes. And honestly, people care more about what you're saying than how perfectly you say it.
Exactly. So instead of thinking, what if people judge me? Try thinking, what if people actually appreciate my effort? That small shift in thinking can make a big difference.
I love that. Now, the last fear, the fear of not being understood. Many learners hesitate to speak because they think, what if people don't understand me?
That's a real fear. But here's the thing: communication is about more than just words. If someone doesn't understand you, you can repeat yourself, use gestures, or rephrase what you're saying.
Exactly. And let's be honest, sometimes even native speakers don't understand each other. The key is to stay calm and try again.
Yes, and the more you practice, the more people will understand you. So don't be afraid to try.
Great tips, Julia. Now, to all our listeners, if fear has been stopping you from speaking English, it's time to let it go. Confidence comes from action, not from waiting to be perfect.
Yes, and in the next section, we'll share some simple exercises that you can use to build confidence and start speaking English today.
So, stay with us. We have some exciting practical tips coming up. Now that we've talked about overcoming fear, let's get into something really important: how to build confidence in speaking English. Julia, what's the first step learners can take?
Great question, Jason. The first step is to start speaking every day, even if it's just a little. You don't need a perfect sentence, just say something in English daily. It could be speaking to yourself, talking to a friend, or even recording your voice.
I love that speaking out loud helps your brain get used to forming sentences. And don't worry about mistakes. Just focus on getting comfortable using English.
Exactly, the second step is practice shadowing. Have you heard of shadowing, Jason?
Yes, it's a great technique where you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say as quickly as possible. It helps improve pronunciation, rhythm, and confidence.
Right. So find a short podcast, YouTube video, or even a movie scene and repeat what you hear. It makes you sound more natural over time.
That's such a powerful tip. Okay, here's another step. Use positive self-talk. Instead of saying, "My English is bad," say, "I'm improving every day." Changing the way you talk to yourself can boost your confidence.
I love that. Our thoughts affect our actions. If you tell yourself you can do it, you will start believing it.
Exactly. Another great step is to practice speaking with real people. Join a language exchange, speak to an online tutor, or just have small conversations in English whenever you can.
Yes, and remember it's okay to start small. Even ordering coffee in English or greeting someone in English is great practice.
Absolutely! And one final step: have fun with English. Watch movies, listen to music, and talk about topics you enjoy. The more enjoyable it is, the more confident you'll become.
That's such a great point. So, to all our listeners, try these steps, speak daily, practice shadowing, use positive self-talk, talk to real people, and make English fun. These small actions will boost your confidence fast.
Yes, and in the next part, we'll talk about real-life success stories of learners who built their confidence and started speaking English fluently. So stay with us. All right, we've talked about building confidence, and now let's connect it to fluency. Many learners believe fluency comes first, but in reality, fluency is a byproduct of confidence. Julia, what do we mean by that?
It means that when you feel confident enough to speak, fluency naturally improves over time. You don't need to be fluent to start speaking. You need to start speaking to become fluent.
Exactly. Think about a baby learning to talk. They don't wait until they can say full sentences perfectly. They just try, make mistakes, and keep going. That's how they become fluent.
Yes, and the same applies to English learners. When you stop worrying about mistakes and just communicate with confidence, your fluency starts developing without you even realizing it.
That's so true. The more you speak, the easier it becomes. Confidence gives you the courage to speak, and the more you speak, the more fluent you become. It's a natural process.
Exactly. So, to all our listeners, don't wait for fluency to start speaking. Speak with confidence now, and fluency will follow.
Yes. And up next, we'll share some final motivation and key takeaways to help you apply what you've learned today. Stay with us. Wow, what a great conversation today. Before we wrap up, let's leave our listeners with some final tips and motivation to help them build confidence and fluency.
Yes, first remember that confidence comes before fluency. Don't wait to be perfect. Just start speaking, and fluency will come naturally.
Absolutely. And second, mistakes are your best teachers. Instead of feeling embarrassed, See every mistake as progress. The more mistakes you make, the faster you learn.
I love that. And another tip, make English part of your daily life. Even 5 minutes of speaking, listening, or thinking in English every day will help you improve over time.
That's so true. And here's one more: believe in yourself. The only difference between someone who speaks English fluently and someone who doesn't is practice and confidence. You can do this.
Yes, if you keep going, one day you'll look back and realize how much you've improved. Just take one step at a time.
And on that note, we want to challenge you: start speaking today. Talk to yourself, record your voice, or have a short conversation with someone in English. And on that note, we want to challenge you: start speaking today. Talk to yourself, record your voice, or have a short conversation with someone in English.
You've got this. Believe in yourself, stay confident, and keep speaking.
That's a perfect way to end. Thank you all for joining us today. Keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Keep speaking with confidence.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. We're so happy you're here with us today.
Today, we're diving into something really important for all English learners: daily mind training for English fluency. Julia, can you tell us why mind training is such a big deal?
Absolutely, Jason. When we talk about mind training, we mean training your brain and your mindset every day to help you become more confident and fluent in English. It's not just about learning grammar or vocabulary. It's about preparing your mind to think in English naturally.
That's right. Often, learners focus a lot on memorizing words and rules, but forget how powerful their mindset is in helping them speak English smoothly. If your mind isn't trained well, even knowing the language doesn't always translate to fluent speaking.
Exactly. So in today's episode, we'll share practical daily mental exercises, tips to overcome mental blocks, and simple routines you can follow to train your mind for better English every single day.
We'll also talk about visualization, mindfulness, and positive habits that can make a huge difference in your fluency journey. So whether you're a beginner or have been learning English for a while, this episode is for you.
We're excited to share these ideas with you, so let's get started.
All right, Julia, so we just talked about how important mind training is for English fluency. But what exactly is mind training? Can you explain that to our listeners?
Great question, Jason. Mind training is basically the process of training your brain to think, focus, and behave in ways that help you learn English better. It's like exercising your mind every day so it gets stronger and faster at processing the language.
So it's more than just studying grammar or vocabulary. It's about training how your brain works, right?
Exactly. Think of it like this. When you learn a new sport, you don't just watch videos or read about it, you practice daily. Your brain and body get used to the movements. Mind training for English is similar. You practice thinking in English, focusing on English, and managing your emotions about learning.
That makes sense. So what kind of things does mind training include?
There are a few key parts. First is mindset, believing that you can improve your English with effort and time. That's called a growth mindset. Then, there's focus, training your brain to concentrate on English learning without getting distracted. Also, it includes mental habits like staying positive, being patient with yourself, and practicing regularly.
Sounds powerful. Can you give an example of a simple mind training exercise?
Sure. One easy exercise is called positive self-talk. It means telling yourself things like, "I'm getting better every day," or "I can speak English confidently." Saying these out loud or thinking them helps your brain believe in your ability. Over time, this boosts your confidence and fluency.
I like that. So it's not just about knowledge, but also about training how you feel about speaking English.
Exactly. Another example is visualization, imagining yourself having a smooth conversation in English before it happens. This mental rehearsal helps your brain prepare and reduces anxiety.
I see. So, mind training is really about shaping your thoughts and feelings to support your English learning journey.
Yes, and the good news is that anyone can do it. Just like physical training, you need to do it every day, even a few minutes, to see real results.
Perfect. I'm excited to share more specific daily habits and exercises for mind training in the next part of the episode.
Me too, Jason. Let's keep going.
All right, Julia. Now that we know what mind training is, let's talk about daily habits. What are some daily mind training habits our listeners can start doing right away to improve their English fluency?
Great topic, Jason. Developing small daily habits is key because consistency is what really builds fluency. Here are some powerful daily habits that train your mind for English.
Awesome. I'm ready. What's first?
First, start your day with morning affirmations in English. It's simple, but very effective. Just say positive statements like, I am improving my English every day, or I speak English confidently and clearly. This sets a positive mindset right at the start of your day.
I like that. It's like telling your brain what to expect and believe. What's next?
Next, try mental rehearsal of conversations. Before going to work, school, or any situation where you might speak English, spend a few minutes imagining the conversation. Picture yourself understanding, responding well, and feeling calm.
So you mentally practice the conversation even before it happens. That must reduce nervousness, right?
Exactly. Your brain gets used to the idea of speaking English confidently. It makes the actual conversation easier.
Cool. What's another habit?
Another important one is listening and shadowing practice. Listen to a short audio clip in English, then try to repeat or shadow what you hear immediately after. This trains your brain to recognize sounds and improves pronunciation and rhythm.
I have heard about shadowing. It's like copying a native speaker's speech as closely as possible, right?
Yes, it's great for tuning your mind and mouth to natural English patterns.
Got it. What else can listeners do daily?
Setting daily goals is very helpful. Even small goals like, today, I will learn 5 new words, or I will speak English for 10 minutes. These goals focus your mind and give you clear targets.
That's smart. When you have goals, your brain knows what to work on, and you feel motivated.
Exactly. Another habit is to read or watch something in English every day, even for 5 to 10 minutes. It trains your brain to understand new vocabulary and sentence structures naturally.
I think the key here is that all these habits don't take too long but add up to big improvements over time.
Yes, the brain loves repetition and consistency. These small daily exercises create strong mental pathways that help your English become fluent and automatic.
That's fantastic. For busy people, it's encouraging to know that even a few minutes of focused mind training every day can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Start small, stay consistent, and your fluency will improve step by step.
Thanks, Julia. Up next, we'll talk about how to overcome mental blocks and negative thoughts, which can be a big challenge for learners.
Yes, that's a very important topic. Stay with us.
Julia, we've talked a lot about positive habits, but I know many learners struggle with mental blocks and negative thoughts. Can you explain what these mental blocks are?
Sure, Jason. Mental blocks are those feelings of fear, self-doubt, or anxiety that stop learners from speaking or practicing English. They make people worry about making mistakes or sounding silly, which can slow down progress.
Yeah, I think a lot of learners get stuck because they're afraid of making mistakes or not being perfect. That fear can be really paralyzing.
Exactly. And those negative thoughts like, I'm not good enough or I'll never be fluent, can become self-fulfilling. They affect your confidence and motivation.
So, What are some effective ways to overcome these mental blocks?
There are several powerful techniques. One is mindfulness, paying attention to your thoughts without judgment. When a negative thought comes, you notice it but don't get caught up in it. This helps reduce anxiety.
Can you give an example of a mindfulness exercise for learners?
Sure, try this. When you feel nervous before speaking English, take a few deep breaths and silently say, "It's okay to feel nervous. I'm learning and improving." This simple practice brings your focus to the present moment and calms your mind.
That sounds very practical. What about changing negative self-talk?
Yes, that's really important. Replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations like, "Mistakes are part of learning," or "I get better every day." Repeating these affirmations trains your brain to think more positively.
I imagine being patient with yourself is also part of this process.
Absolutely. Learning a language takes time, and it's important to celebrate small wins instead of focusing only on what's difficult.
What role does persistence play in overcoming mental blocks?
Persistence is key. Sometimes your mind will tell you to give up, but if you keep practicing and push through discomfort, your confidence grows. Over time, those mental blocks lose their power.
That's really encouraging, Julia. Do you think keeping a gratitude journal can help?
Definitely. Writing down things you're grateful for, like small progress moments or kind people who support you, shifts your mindset to positivity. It makes you more resilient against negative thoughts.
Great advice. So, mindfulness, positive affirmations, patience, persistence, and gratitude all work together to help learners overcome mental blocks.
Exactly, Jason. And remember, it's normal to face these blocks. What matters is how you respond to them.
Thanks, Julia. Up next, we'll dive into visualization and imagination techniques to train your mind for fluency. Stay tuned. Julia, earlier you mentioned visualization as part of mind training. Can you explain what visualization is and how it helps with English fluency?
Of course, Jason. Visualization is a mental technique where you imagine yourself succeeding in English, like having a smooth conversation, understanding others easily, or giving a confident presentation.
So it's like creating a mental movie of yourself speaking English fluently?
Exactly. When you picture yourself speaking confidently, your brain starts to believe it's possible. This mental practice prepares you emotionally and mentally for real-life situations.
That sounds powerful. How can learners use visualization every day?
It's simple. Spend a few minutes each day imagining a specific English-speaking scenario. For example, imagine ordering food at a restaurant, chatting with a friend, or answering questions in class. Picture yourself speaking clearly, smiling, and feeling calm.
Does this technique help reduce anxiety too?
Definitely. Visualization creates a sense of familiarity and reduces fear because your brain treats imagined practice almost like real experience.
Are there other imagination exercises learners can try?
Yes, you can combine visualization with positive emotions. Imagine the joy of understanding a movie without subtitles or the pride of completing a conversation successfully.
So connecting positive feelings with the images makes the mind training stronger?
Exactly. The brain remembers emotions strongly, so positive feelings linked to your English goals make it easier to stay motivated.
That's great. Any tips for beginners who might find visualization challenging?
Start small. Even imagining just one sentence or phrase in English is helpful. Over time, as you get more comfortable, you can visualize longer conversations.
Thanks, Julia. Visualization sounds like a fun and effective way to train your mind for fluency.
It really is. In our next segment, we'll discuss mindfulness and meditation techniques to calm your mind and improve focus. Don't miss it.
Julia, we often hear about mindfulness and how it helps in many areas of life. But how exactly does mindfulness help with learning English?
Great question, Jason. Mindfulness helps you stay present and fully focused on what you're doing. When learning English, it means paying close attention to the words, sounds, and meaning without distractions.
So it's about training your brain to avoid getting lost in thoughts or worries while studying or speaking.
Exactly. For example, if you're practicing speaking, mindfulness helps you notice how you form sounds or use grammar, so you can improve more effectively.
That sounds really useful. Can you share a simple mindfulness exercise our listeners can try?
Sure, here's a quick one. Find a quiet place, sit comfortably, and focus on your breathing. Breathe in slowly through your nose and out through your mouth. When your mind wanders, gently bring your attention back to your breath.
How long should someone do this?
Even just 2 to 3 minutes a day can make a difference. This practice trains your brain to focus and calm down, which helps you learn English more efficiently.
Awesome. Any other tips for improving focus during English practice?
Yes, try breaking your study time into short sessions like 20 minutes and take breaks in between. Also, remove distractions, turn off your phone or find a quiet space. This helps your mind fully engage with English.
Those are great tips. Staying mindful and focused really sounds like a game changer for learners.
It is, Jason. Mindfulness not only improves learning but also reduces anxiety so you can enjoy speaking English more.
Thanks, Julia. Up next, we'll talk about building positive habits for long-term success. Stay tuned. Julia, we've talked a lot about daily habits and mind training. But how important is it to track your progress when learning English?
It's super important, Jason. Tracking your progress helps you see how far you've come, which boosts your motivation and confidence.
That makes sense. Sometimes when you're learning, it feels like you're not improving, even if you actually are.
Exactly. Keeping a simple journal or checklist of what you practice every day, like new words learned or minutes spent speaking, makes your progress visible.
And I guess celebrating small wins along the way is part of the mental rewards?
Yes, giving yourself mental rewards like saying, "well done," or treating yourself to a small break creates positive feelings. This reinforces your good habits and keeps your brain motivated.
So tracking progress is not just about numbers, but also about celebrating the journey.
Exactly. It helps you stay positive and focused on your goals.
Great advice, Julia. Up next, we'll wrap up with some final tips to keep your mind training strong. Don't go away. All right, Julia. Now it's time to answer some common questions we get from our listeners about daily mind training for English fluency.
Yes, these questions really show what learners are curious or worried about, so let's get to them.
First question. How long does it take to see results from mind training?
Great question. It really depends on how consistent you are, but many learners notice small improvements in just a few weeks. The key is daily practice. Even 10 minutes every day adds up.
Second question. What if I don't have much time? Can just a few minutes help?
Absolutely. Even short, focused sessions work well. The brain benefits from regular, consistent training, no matter how brief.
Another question we hear is, what if I feel nervous or stuck during practice?
That's normal. Remember to be patient with yourself. Use techniques like deep breathing or positive affirmations to calm your mind and keep going.
Last question for today. Can mind training work if I'm not in an English-speaking country?
Definitely. Mind training is about what happens inside your mind so you can practice anywhere, anytime. Using visualization, listening, and daily habits helps no matter where you are.
Thanks for those helpful answers, Julia. If listeners have more questions, they can always reach out to us.
Yes, we love hearing from you. Keep practicing and stay positive.
All right. Coming up next is our wrap-up with final tips and motivation. Stay with us. Julia, we've covered a lot today about daily mind training for English fluency. Can you quickly summarize the key points for our listeners?
Sure, Jason. Remember these main ideas. Practice daily habits like affirmations and shadowing. Overcome mental blocks with mindfulness and positive self-talk. Use visualization to imagine success. And track your progress with mental rewards.
That's a great summary. And what final advice would you give to keep learners motivated?
Stay patient and consistent. Learning English is a journey, not a race. Celebrate your small wins, believe in yourself, and keep training your mind every day. You'll see amazing progress.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Julia. And thank you all for listening. Keep practicing, stay positive, and we'll see you next time on the English Learning Podcast. Well, Julia, that wraps up our episode on daily mind training for English fluency. I hope our listeners found it useful and inspiring.
Absolutely, Jason. Remember, it's all about consistency and mindset. Keep practicing every day, and you'll get closer to your English goals.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends who are also learning English.
And if you have any questions or topics you want us to cover, please leave a comment or reach out on our social media.
Thanks again for joining us. Keep training your mind and stay confident with your English.
See you next time on the English Learning Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm Julia, your co-host. We're so happy to have you with us today.
If you're trying to improve your English speaking skills, this episode is just for you. Today's topic is something many English learners need to hear. Don't speak perfect English, speak real English.
That's right. So many learners focus too much on being perfect grammar, perfect pronunciation, perfect vocabulary. But here's the truth.
In real life, people don't speak perfect English. They speak real English simple, natural, and relaxed. That's what helps you connect with others and express yourself confidently.
Exactly. Think about it. Do native speakers speak like grammar books? Not at all. We say things like gonna, wanna, or lemme, and we even make little mistakes, and that's totally normal.
So, in this episode, we're going to talk about why it's more important to speak real English than perfect English. And don't worry, we'll give you practical tips, real examples, and even a little practice.
Whether you're a beginner or already on your English journey, we want you to feel relaxed, confident, and ready to speak, not afraid to make mistakes.
All right, let's get started. First, let's talk about a big problem many learners face: the myth of perfect English. So, Julia, let's talk about something a lot of English learners believe: the idea that they have to speak perfect English all the time. What do you think about that?
Honestly, Jason, I think it's one of the biggest things holding people back. Many learners believe they shouldn't speak until their grammar is 100% correct or until their accent sounds native, but that's not realistic or helpful.
Absolutely. I've met so many learners who are afraid to open their mouths because they don't want to make a mistake. They wait and wait, trying to be perfect, and in the end, they stay silent.
Yes. And here's the truth. Even native speakers don't speak perfect English. We pause, we say and we mix up our words, and sometimes we even forget how to say something.
Exactly. And nobody corrects us because that's just how people speak in real life. So, if you're a learner, why are you being harder on yourself than we are on ourselves?
Right. It's like trying to write a perfect book before you've ever written a sentence. You learn to speak by speaking, not by waiting to be perfect.
I love that. You know, I remember a student I had a few years ago. Her name was Anna. She knew a lot of vocabulary and grammar rules, but she was afraid to talk. She always said, "What if I make a mistake?"
Oh, I've heard that so many times.
So one day I said, "Anna, just speak. Make mistakes. I want you to speak bad English today. And you know what? She laughed, relaxed, and spoke more in that one class than ever before. Her confidence changed just because she stopped chasing perfection.
That's beautiful, and it's true. When you stop focusing on perfection, your real learning begins. You get more comfortable, and that comfort leads to better fluency over time.
Another problem is that some learners think native speakers will judge them for mistakes. But guess what? Most people will respect you more for trying, especially if English isn't your first language.
Yes, most English speakers are kind and patient. We don't expect you to speak like a professor. We just want to understand you and have a conversation.
So here's a simple truth. Making mistakes is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're learning. And the more you practice, the more natural your English will become.
I agree 100%. So, if you're listening to this and feeling nervous about speaking, stop waiting to be perfect. Speak now. Speak often. Speak with joy.
Well said, Julia. All right, now that we've busted the myth of perfect English, let's talk about what real English actually means and why it's what you should aim for.
All right, Jason, we've talked about why perfect English isn't necessary. Now let's dig into this question. What exactly is real English?
Great question, Julia. Real English is the kind of English people actually speak in daily life. It's not always formal, it's not always grammatically perfect, but it's natural, relaxed, and clear.
Right. Real English is what you hear in everyday conversations at the coffee shop, in the office, on the street, or even when friends are chatting. It's full of expressions, contractions, and shortcuts.
Exactly. Let me give a quick example. A textbook might say, I am going to visit my grandmother this evening. But in real life, most people just say, I'm going to visit my grandma tonight.
Yes. And that second sentence sounds more casual, more natural, and that's what people actually say. Real English is full of phrases like gonna, wanna, lemme, gotta, and so on.
Also, real English often includes small words that don't mean much like, you know, I mean, like, or kind of. They help make speech flow more naturally.
And it's not just words. Real English includes how we say things. The tone, the speed, the rhythm we speak in chunks or short phrases, not one word at a time.
Exactly. Native speakers often connect their words. For example, we say, did you eat? But it sounds like, did ya eat? Or, what are you doing? Becomes, what you doing?
So if you're listening and thinking, I don't understand native speakers, don't worry. It's probably because they're speaking real English, not slow textbook English.
And that's totally okay. The good news is you can learn real English by listening more and practicing with real materials like this podcast.
That's why it's important to focus not just on rules and grammar, but also on how English is used in real life. That's the kind of English that will help you in conversations, jobs, travel, everywhere.
So remember, real English equals natural English. It's simple, clear, and confident, not perfect or fancy.
All right, so now that we know what real English is, let's compare it to textbook English and talk about how to spot the difference.
Okay, so now let's look at a very common question English learners have. What's the difference between real English and textbook English?
That's such a good topic, Jason. I think most of us start with textbook English when we first begin learning, and that's okay. It gives us the basics.
Definitely. Textbooks teach grammar rules, vocabulary, and sentence structure. They say things like, hello, how are you? I am fine, thank you. And you?
That's the classic. But let's be honest, when was the last time you heard two people say that in real life?
Almost never. In real conversations, people say, hey, how's it going? I'm good. You?
Exactly. Real English is more casual, more flexible. It reflects how people actually speak, not how we're supposed to speak in perfect sentences.
Also, textbook English usually doesn't teach idioms, slang, or natural expressions. For example, a textbook might teach, I am very tired, but real English might be, I'm beat, I'm wiped out, I'm totally exhausted.
Or instead of, it is raining heavily, we say, it's pouring. It sounds more real and expressive.
Another thing, textbook English often feels too formal. You don't need to speak like a business letter every time. You can say, hey, not just hello, or thanks, instead of thank you very much.
And here's something important for our listeners. You don't have to throw away what you learned in textbooks. Just add real English on top of it. Mix both.
Yes, use the grammar you've learned, but don't be afraid to sound natural. If someone says, what you doing later? Now you'll know that it means, what are you doing later?
So, in summary, textbook English equals clean, correct, but formal and not always natural. Real English equals casual, simple, and sounds the way people talk in everyday life.
And remember, both types have value. But to communicate well, real English is your best friend.
Coming up next, we'll talk about why mistakes are actually helpful and how they make you a better English speaker.
So, let's talk about something really important, making mistakes. A lot of learners are afraid of them, right?
Oh, totally. Many learners think, if I make a mistake, people will laugh at me, or I'll sound stupid. But that's just not true.
Yes, mistakes are a natural part of learning. In fact, they're one of the best ways to learn. Every mistake gives you feedback. It shows you where to improve.
Exactly. Think about how babies learn to speak. They don't wait until they know every word. They just speak. They say things wrong, and people gently correct them. That's how they grow.
I love that. And honestly, even native speakers make mistakes. We forget words, we use the wrong tense, or we mix things up and we just keep going.
Right. Nobody says, oh no, you used the wrong verb, you failed. No, we just keep the conversation going.
So, if you're a learner, here's the truth. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Be afraid of missing the chance to speak.
That's powerful. Every time you speak, even with mistakes, you're getting better. You're training your brain to use English naturally.
So the next time you're about to say something in English and you feel nervous, just go for it. Mistakes mean progress.
Coming up, we're going to give you some real-life phrases and examples you can use to sound more natural even if you make a mistake or two.
All right, so far we've talked about real English, the myths about perfection, and why mistakes are okay. Now let's talk about one of the best ways to learn real English, listening to real conversations.
Yes, this is such an important point. Many English learners spend a lot of time reading grammar books or memorizing vocabulary, but real improvement often happens when you listen to how English is actually spoken.
Exactly. When you listen to real conversations like podcasts, interviews, YouTube videos, or even movies, you get to hear the rhythm, the tone, and the natural flow of the language.
And you also hear real expressions that people use in daily life, things like, no worries, what's up, sounds good to me. These don't usually appear in textbooks, but they're so common in real life.
Absolutely. Also, listening helps you understand how native speakers connect words. For example, instead of, what are you doing? You might hear, watch doin'?
Right. And the more you hear it, the more you get used to it, your ears start to recognize patterns. You don't even have to understand every single word to learn.
That's a great point. Even if you only understand 60 to 70% of what you hear, you're still learning. Your brain is working in the background, noticing pronunciation, tone, and sentence structure.
And here's a tip for our listeners. Don't just listen once. Listen to the same conversation multiple times. First, just enjoy it. Second, listen for new words. Third, try repeating the sentences out loud.
Yes, that technique is called shadowing. It means you listen and repeat right after the speaker, almost like an echo. It helps you sound more fluent and natural.
And remember, it's okay if you don't sound perfect at first. You're training your ears and your mouth at the same time. That's how real learning happens.
So, whether you're listening to this podcast, watching a show, or chatting with friends, just keep your ears open. Real English is everywhere.
And the more you listen, the more confident you'll feel. Your speaking will improve naturally because you're feeding your brain real English input.
Up next, we'll give you some simple ways to practice real English every day, even if you don't live in an English-speaking country.
Now let's talk about something super practical using simple, natural phrases. Because sometimes learners think they need to sound smart to speak good English.
Yes, I hear this a lot. Learners try to use long or complicated words to sound fluent. But in real English, native speakers usually keep it short and simple.
Exactly. For example, instead of saying, "I am unable to attend the meeting today," a native speaker might just say, "I can't make it today."
Right. Or instead of, "I will attempt to finish the report," you can just say, "I'll try to finish the report."
That sounds much more natural, and it's easier to understand too. Speaking simply doesn't mean your English is weak, it means it's clear and confident.
Also, natural phrases are used every day. Things like, "No problem," "Take care," "That's fine," "Sounds good." These make your English feel friendly and real.
Here's a fun tip for our listeners. When you hear a phrase you like, write it down. Keep a small notebook or use your phone. Then try to use those phrases in your own conversations.
I love that idea. And when you use these phrases often, they become part of your speaking style. You don't have to think about grammar, the sentence just comes out naturally.
So don't worry about sounding fancy. Focus on sounding natural and comfortable. That's how real communication works.
Coming up next, we'll give you some easy ways to practice real English in your daily life, even if you're not living in an English-speaking country. So now that we've talked about simple, natural phrases, let's go one step further. How can you practice real English in your daily life?
Good question. Many learners say, "I don't live in an English-speaking country," or "I don't have anyone to practice with." But guess what? You still have options.
Absolutely. One of the best ways is to talk to yourself in English. It sounds funny, but it really works. You can describe what you're doing. "I'm making coffee." "I'm going for a walk." "It's a nice day today."
Yes, and you can also practice thinking in English. Instead of translating from your native language, try forming your thoughts in English even if it's simple. That builds fluency.
Another great idea. Record yourself speaking. Pick a topic like "my favorite food" or "what I did today," and speak for 1 or 2 minutes. Then listen back and notice how you sound.
That helps you hear your pronunciation and find areas to improve, just like a coach reviewing a game.
Here's another one. Language exchange apps. You can find people online who want to learn your language, and in return, you speak English with them.
Also, watch videos with subtitles. First, listen with subtitles in your language, then switch to English subtitles, then try without any. It trains your ears step by step.
One more fun idea, shadowing. Play a podcast or video and repeat what the speaker says, like an echo. You're copying real speech, rhythm, and intonation.
So the key is, make English part of your daily routine. You don't need a classroom, you just need small daily practice.
Coming up next, let's talk about something we all love. Fun. Yes, we'll share how real English learning can be fun and full of joy.
Let's talk about something that stops many learners from speaking overthinking.
Oh, yes, that voice in your head that says, "Is this the right word? What if I say it wrong? What if they don't understand me?" And then you say nothing at all.
Exactly. Overthinking can freeze your confidence, but the truth is communication is not about perfection. It's about connection.
Well said. If your message is clear, that's enough. People don't care if your grammar is perfect. They care about your meaning, your tone, your smile.
So the best advice? Just speak. Don't try to build a perfect sentence in your head. Say what you can with the words you know.
And if you get stuck, it's okay to pause, smile, and try again. That's what fluent speakers do too, even in their own language.
The more you speak without fear, the faster you'll grow. So remember, don't overthink, just speak. You've got this.
Coming up, let's bring the joy back to learning. We'll talk about how to make English learning fun and enjoyable every single day. Let's talk about something really useful, how to use real English in different everyday situations.
Yes, English sounds different depending on where you are or who you're talking to. For example, the way you talk to a friend is different from how you speak to a teacher or at work.
Right. With friends, you might say, "Hey, what's up?" Or, "Want to hang out later?" But at work, it's more like, "Could we schedule a meeting?" Or, "Please let me know if you need help."
And don't worry if you don't get everything perfect. Using simple, natural phrases that fit the situation is what really matters.
Exactly. The more you practice real English in different situations like shopping, traveling, or at school, the more confident you'll become.
And the great news? You don't need to memorize complicated sentences. Just listen, observe, and try to use what feels natural.
So remember, real English is about being yourself and adjusting to your situation.
Coming up next, we'll wrap up with some final tips to keep you motivated on your English learning journey.
All right, Julia, as we come to the end of today's episode, let's leave our listeners with a powerful message.
Yes, if there's one thing to remember, it's this. Progress is more important than perfection.
That's right. Every step you take, no matter how small, moves you forward. Don't get stuck trying to be perfect. Real English is about communicating, connecting, and growing.
And don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Everyone learns at their own pace.
Celebrate your progress, your courage to speak, and your willingness to keep trying.
Remember, mistakes are part of the journey, and every time you speak, you get better.
So keep going, keep practicing, and most importantly, enjoy the journey.
You've got this. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of English Learning Podcast.
Wow, Julia, we covered a lot today. From breaking the myth of perfect English to practicing real English every day.
Yes, Jason. And remember, the key is to keep it simple, natural, and fun. Use real phrases, listen to real conversations, and don't be afraid to make mistakes.
One last tip, be patient with yourself. Learning a language is a journey, not a race. Celebrate small wins and keep practicing.
Also, try to speak English a little bit every day, even if it's just a few sentences to yourself or with a friend.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more helpful episodes like this.
Thanks for joining us today. Keep speaking real English, and see you next time on English Learning Podcast.
Take care and happy learning.